All right, good evening and welcome to the Hideaway Hills Management Meeting as of December 8th, 2020. With the ongoing pandemic spiking, we are again having this meeting via WebEx. That'll be posted on 12 in the morning at 12:09. Jeff or Randy, if you could have Penny do that, that'd be great. We have no invited guests tonight, so one of our general managers wants to jump right in, and we'll introduce Jeff here in a minute. Randy, if you want to run us through the numbers.
All right. Capital fund, $265,255. Depreciation fund total, $214,906. Delinquencies in October were 22,873. Went up a little bit in November, simply because we added in the 30-day people on the 30-day list to $24,420. Road delinquencies were in October was $3,200, down in November to $2,400, which is pretty daggone good. Special assessment account, Popular Bank, and I just did these numbers yesterday. $101,589 in Popular Bank, and the dam repair checking now has $70,493 for a total of $172,082.
Okay. All right. We typically talk about our reserve funds and the financials at the second meeting. So let's go through that. News and notes.
Basically, I just want everybody to know that Jeff started last Monday. We've been working very closely together as he has interviewed quite a few of the other supervisors, and I think he's doing very well.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you, Jeff. Welcome to our little show. We have more fun than the board. Our little jab at the board, but welcome, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Same here.
All right, request for expenditures. I had Randy resend out the all the quotes today, so you should have received those. We can kind of through these a little quicker. Randy, you want to walk us through?
Yeah, let's see. I'll start with the farewell mower quotes. Baker Vehicle Systems, where we get most of our equipment anyway, had Jacobson for $63,238.70. Then we got a competitive bid from John Deere. It was about $10,000, a little over $10,000 higher. At $73,445. So I know we've put off buying a fairway mower here for several years, and they were really hustling trying to keep the ones we have running last year. I know we'll have to go to the board to get approval for this, but I'd like to get the management committee to recommend purchase of the Jacobson, the board meeting next week.
Yeah, Jeff Harper, I want to ask your opinion on golf course. You've been around golf courses too. I will say this was our number one purchase last year on our equipment listing. We will go over that equipment listing again at the next meeting. But this was number one last year. We chose to defer it and basically get one more year, try to get one more year out of our existing piece of equipment. I think we've asked a lot of our maintenance guys to push that thing one more year. We have priced out the Jacobsons versus the John Deeres in the past, as Randy did this time, and it's typically about a 10 grand difference between the Jacobson and the John Deere, so I'm not surprised.
Toros will usually fall about somewhere in between the two.
Gotcha. So,
I got some questions.
Yeah, Jeff, do you have any comments though about these machines or the pricing, or these
No,
are for new, right,
the
Randy?
Jacobson is actually a good price. I'm not as familiar with that equipment, but the staff is, and they're the ones that have to do the repairs. So I wouldn't mess with what they know,
Gotcha.
particularly when it's the best price.
All right. Steven, did you have a question?
I mean, apples to apples comparison, the John Deere is a lot more mower than what the Jacobson is. Also on this thing, I don't know, I blipped out and lost of you there for a little bit. Financing issues, we're looking at financing this thing. John Deere and all its equipment right now is financing up to 6 years, 0%.
We can't take out a loan.
Rebate service.
Steve, we can't take out a loan. We can't take out a loan without
Can we do it? Can we do?
Membership approval. It's pretty clear in the
Can we
code.
do a lease? Can we do a lease?
It's the same situation.
We've looked at that before. It's most of your leases, you're still basically paying for the equipment. And if somebody really wanted to push it, that we circumvent the rules. We've got the money in the depreciation. I don't want to circumvent the rules. I'm all with you, but the rule is clear. We can't take out any kind of a loan over 25,000 without membership approval. So anyway.
I'm trying to raise Kate. I'm just trying to, make sure what the hell's going on here with this stuff. And
I know.
we're not getting apples to apples, and I want to make sure we get the right, the right thing, that we're trying to do here. The John Deere. I mean, I know nothing about these mowers, but when you do a side-by-side comparison, day and night difference. I mean, there's the difference between 7 blades on a real mowing versus 10 on the John Deere. Does it make a difference? I figured it's better. The platform it rides underneath it is a lot. The framework. I'm looking at something we're going to have for 10 years, 20.
Actually, the John Deere has 8 blade cutting units, and the Jacobson has 9 blade cutting units. So it does have one more extra blade unit there on the Jacobson than the John Deere does.
Okay, well, the 570 I was looking at has a 7 real. John Deere has more. It doesn't matter.
I'll be honest, I don't know anything about
just trying to do fiscally with right here just to make sure we're spending money wisely. That's a boatload of money. We need to make sure we don't need to rush into this. We need to make sure we have what we need.
Yeah, we've got Jacobson equipment, and we've got really good use out of those. Both used and new.
And your John Deere was also priced out of South Carolina and has considerable freight on top of it. They have a dealer in Columbus.
Which was free.
Audio's terrible. I don't know. I guess it's my internet for some reason tonight.
No, I can hear you. How much was the freight on the John Deere?
It's not on here.
I'm sure there's some freight to it. But
In there, we just can't see it.
yeah. And the need there is to definitely get one of these bought and purchased. We've typically pushed this early, Steve, just because I don't say we have to approve this tonight, but I'd like to get it done before the January board meeting, because typically the delivery time, I don't see where it says, can be a couple months before we get it here.
Again, those questions we need to ask.
Hey, Randy.
Yes, sir.
Can you please send all those quotes to me? I did not get anything from you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I
No,
will.
you left him off. I'll forward it.
Did I really? I'm sorry about that.
Forward it. So what is specifically your questions or concerns to ask?
I just want to make sure we have all the information. I mean, it's more than just, it's like going out and pricing a Volkswagen and a Ford. I mean, are we getting what we want? It can't just be what somebody likes. I'm not knocking our maintenance staff or ground crew at the golf course by any means by saying that. I'm just saying we need to make sure that we're researching this stuff right, I think, for the membership. And like I say, I wasn't aware we couldn't finance it. It's one thing. They have leases. You do a 3-year lease, you roll them over, you buy them out at the end of the lease. And again, this is not to be underhanded with the community, but I think if they see the fact of the value, instead of dumping 70 grand into something at one time, if we belong to this, you know, we're still working on the dam issue and paying that, and then we're going to write a check for a $70,000 motor. It's kind of, I just want to make sure that we're thinking the right way.
Steve, why do you think that the John Deere is so much better than the Jacobson? I mean, is it just from your experience?
I don't know that it is.
Oh,
I
okay.
look at,
right.
So the product to products, I'm just looking at the features on them, the warnings. What's the warning on the Jacobson?
Well, the features are relatively alike. I mean, if you look at it closely, they're pretty close to being the same.
I've studied them quite lengthy this afternoon.
Okay. What's your recommendation, I guess, to not buy one?
My recommendation is not to jump into this tonight, to actually look in and make sure it's what they want. If the rest of you feel that we should jump in and spend this money tonight, then that's fine.
Well,
we've studied this for the last 3 years. I mean, we've done the same thing for the last 3 years. This comparison.
I've not been part of it.
Yeah.
What specific questions do you want to ask? I guess I'm confused.
Warranty is a question I think he had. So yeah, that's a good question.
Warranty, extended warranty. So if we got 2 years from the factory, can we just 3 more years? You know, who services these? Where's the closest dealer for Jacobson?
Baker's up in Macedonia. Yeah. I
know you're not used to it. Actually having the company come and do warranty work. I know you guys haven't had that luxury, but with a new mower, we're going to have that luxury. So that's why if we have the mower down, what's our capabilities of getting another unit in here? We blow a hydraulic pump, the grass is growing on the golf course. Can we get an agreement with them? Do they have a lease down for a warranty to repair? It's another mower. I mean, these are the kind of things that I look at as we purchased equipment, and a lot of high dollar equipment. These things all add value to the equipment. And it doesn't care if it's orange or yellow or green or what color it is. This is a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a piece of equipment. Our guy's not going to have to do anything, just drop oil and filter in it and throw some grease for a lot of years.
And sharpen the blades. Yeah.
Okay. So we just want to find out about the warranty comparisons.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I mean, I think our guys know what we want.
Look at extended warranties.
The apples to apples. Okay. I feel pretty adamantly about not leaving.
Our guys knowing what they want. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty adamant we cannot leave. We've looked at the leasing before. A lease is essentially anymore is a financing mechanism, and I just don't want to press that. I don't want to press that with the code, I guess is my opinion. And I get trying to extend it out, but I just think a lease is too close to a loan. But that's my opinion. I mean, that's what we looked at before, and we never could get over the fact that you're really taking out financing. But okay. JJ and Rex, do you guys got any other concerns or questions that we need to answer?
No, my experience with back at the bridge, they had a lot of Jacobson mowers, and the maintenance really loved them. They held up well. I know Deere products are very good. There is one in Columbus, but let's look at the warranties. It's a good question.
Yes. Randy, is there a dealer for these in Columbus that would be cheaper?
Oh, there's several, not the Jacobson, but there's several dealers.
The John Deere.
There's several dealers around with the Deere, yeah. But I mean, he wouldn't have gone to South Carolina for this estimate. It's just that's where this came from. I mean, he would have contacted one of our local dealers. It's just that's where this estimate came from, South Carolina. He didn't go to South Carolina to price this.
No, I didn't. But would he have got? I didn't know if local John Deere dealer could do better.
I doubt it, because that's who he would have contacted.
Okay, we just want to make sure. I mean,
sure. I know. I understand. Absolutely.
Isn't that the
Some of
John Deere
local,
dealer he buys John Deere parts from all the time?
Well, the local John Deere dealer doesn't provide any golf course equipment. Now, I think the one in Washington Courthouse might. I'm not positive, but yeah.
Well, 10 years ago, no, they didn't. Today, they absolutely do, and there is that's the closest dealer we
Okay,
have.
I don't know who the dealer is in Columbus. Yeah.
So this company that got the quote from has a division in Virginia and a division in South Carolina and one in Tennessee.
Rex, we can't hardly hear you.
Okay, I'm having internet. I'm going to shut down and come right back up. So
Okay.
hang on, please.
I think the internet's working really slow tonight. Is everyone still there?
I think we're waiting on Rex to come back on.
Rex is rebooting.
I think Steve's vanishing in and out too. Okay, so we got
I'm
a little
losing
more
you
work to
guys,
do.
so it's either you or somebody.
I think it's you and Rex, or you seem to be slow.
We hear you, Steve. We don't.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, ideally though, these quotes are through the end of the month. I'm going to take this to the board, at least not for a vote, but just tell them this is what we're looking at buying. But I'm hoping they'll approve it with an e-vote. If we do make a recommendation. Otherwise, we're into third part of January, so we'd have to try to get these bids renewed. So, because mostly these are good for 15 or 30 days.
And I'll check with my old golf course superintendent as well. He's been doing this for 30 years. We didn't have a whole lot of Jacobson, but there was not dealers in and around the Cliffs Resort at the time. It was easier to get the Toro and the John Deere. But they're all well-known names. I think it really boils down to what the team post warranty, what the team is comfortable working on. Because just like the Volkswagen and the Ford example, there's going to be there's going to be some differences and probably some significant ones in actually working on these things. So I know when we shifted from John Deere to Toro, through the mechanics for a loop. But I'll check with him, and then Randy, if you can get the warranty information, we can circle back.
We'll find out if there's
Absolutely.
a local closer John Deere dealer around.
Yeah.
All right, moving along. Gutters to the back of the launch. Randy, you going to continue?
Yeah. I was just making my notes there. Sorry. We got I got a quote from, of course, Kevin Fleeman, who's a member. He owns Professional Gutter and Drain. I got a quote off of him for $1,040, and then I got a quote off of a local gutter guy, Chuck Roop, who's just down 664 a little bit, and he was considerably cheaper. Now, what Chuck does not have that Professional Gutter and Drain did is the size, which is a 6-inch K-style gutter. I'll have to get with Chuck to see if he quoted that 6-inch gutter as well. You know, I mean, apples to apples is real important. Now, I know I was here with both of them, and neither one of them had that light green color, because what happened when we painted the building, we also painted the gutters. So we aren't going to get, neither one of them had that color. It's probably going to be dark green or a gray, depending on what you want. All the colors were the same. It just, we'll have to make that decision whenever we decide to replace them. But I will check with Chuck to make sure his gutter is the same size as the one quoted by Professional Gutter and Drain.
Hey, so Randy, I do have a question on this. If I remember last meeting when this came up and we talked about it, the way that the problem presented itself was that I think you said that the roof was sagging so that it was lower in the middle and, you know, higher on the end. So we're not getting the flow that we need on there. Well, I guess my question is, if the roof's sagging in the middle, aren't we looking at the wrong thing? Seems to me that we should be looking at the roof to see what's wrong there.
Well, yes, but the problem is that the gutter, we patched it for years and the patching just doesn't hold. And so that's why we wanted to get a professional in here to come and reinstall something for this. Now, as far as your comments about the roof sagging, that's what I was told and I would assume that these professional gutter installers will take that into account. But you're not going to be able to fix that roof without jacking it up and completely fixing it. As long as we can get the water flowing to the opposite direction of the center, both ends where the downspouts are, I think you're going to be good to go.
So we haven't even looked at the roof. We don't know.
That's just what Rick told me. That's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought that we should take a look at it. And then just looking at the quotes, the first one, Roop, I mean, he's got no detail on there, right? What building is he talking about?
Yeah.
How many feet? You know,
I was with both of them when they were out there. They both measured the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I back now?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear
you
you,
are.
Rex.
Okay. That's nice, but this is Steve.
Oh,
As long as you hear me.
I've been back too. I'm all right.
All right. Okay.
Just
So-
for your reference, Randy, Ag
Yes.
Pro Companies, John Deere, as far as turf and everything, your dealership right over at 188 and 33 handles turf equipment also.
oh, excellent.
Yeah, that dealership got bought
I mean, I'm not
out.
saying there's going to be any, yeah, Ag Pro owns them all now. I mean, that's the conglomerate of London, Washington Courthouse, Zanesville. I mean, they're all over.
Columbus, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but if there's a huge freight bill on top of that, it might even it out if they're, you know. And again, I think it would be a great idea if Rick would call him and have somebody come out and talk to him. Sorry, I couldn't get in earlier. I apologize.
No problem.
So on the gutters, do we want to wait to see if Chuck Group estimates apples to apples or we can approve the total amount of 1,040, and then if Chuck Group's cheaper, we can just Randy and Jeff can go with that. So we can get the work scheduled and get it done. Probably is if you got leaking gutters when it's icy, we're gonna end up with a icy situation right down there by the office. That's my worry.
Well, that's what we have now anyway. That's what we have now because it's leaking now and they've tried to fix it. And it was icy last year. I kept throwing salt on it every time that it accumulated down there. So we really need to get that replaced as soon as possible. And yeah, I'll talk to Chuck. I know he does a lot of work around Logan.
Yeah, he's pretty reputable.
He did my house 20 years ago, and I know my previous job of the cabins they had out there. I think he did all 9 cabins out there, and so I'm familiar with his work.
Okay. So what you guys want to do?
Let's make a motion that we approve the amount of 1,040, and if he comes in apples to apples cheaper, we go with the lower quote.
Okay.
Second.
Second, Rex. You guys all in favor? Or?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Randy, Jeff, let's get some gutters.
Okay.
I did blip out during the roof conversation. So, I mean, is this an issue? Is this something we need to look at before we spend money on improving the inside of the lodge and have the roof collapse, or?
I
Probably.
think it's just natural sagging that we should probably have We knew an engineer on the committee that could go look at it. Pardon
Do we know one?
me.
Are there wires connected to that?
There probably is. I don't know. I don't know how far it's off, or if it's just natural sagging over the years, or what the issue is.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have some builders that Rick can meet in here and just see if it really is a problem, or if it's just sort of a 50-year-old building naturally kind of having some sag issues. All right, let's move along. Tires, Randy.
Yeah.
Should be in
They
the
need
quotes
tires.
or
They need,
whatever.
yeah, they need tires pretty bad for the 110. I sent the quotes out on that. Tire Warehouse has been pretty consistently cheaper than the others. At $1,310, Cat's Tires was $1,400. Smeltzer Tires, Cat's Tires and Smeltzer are both in Lancaster. Tire Warehouse is down in Athens. And typically the way we handle that is we throw the tires in the back of a truck, take them down there, drop them off. He mounts them, balances them, then we bring them back. And usually one of the guys do that on their way home.
Is that 1310 an all-in price, mounting balancing?
Yes, it is. All of them are the same mounted balancing tax out the door.
Same tires?
Same tires. Yes, exactly same tires.
Okay. You got questions about the tires or what we're looking at, or?
No questions.
It's
I'm glad we're getting quotes. It looks good.
Yeah.
They have
All right.
good road warranties on them, Randy? I know the last set we looked at, I know you guys went to a better tire in hopes if we did have wear that, at least maybe the first round through, we could get some credit back on them if we wear them out sooner than what their mileage is. So did we look at that on the mileage?
They don't warranty commercial use tires. They
Okay,
will.
so this, so on the 110s they won't?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion for that, or?
Make a motion, we go with the purchasing of the 1-ton tires for $1,310.
Okay.
Second it.
All right. Everybody good, or any dissenters?
Aye.
Dave, you good? Yep.
JJ
All
is
right,
quick
looks
on the
like-
motions tonight.
Hey,
He's a man on a mission.
You got
He's got a date.
While we're talking about the and the same quote is tirechains.com. So we need 2 sets of tire chains. Those we get a whole season of those, or?
Typically, we do get a whole season out of them. Right now, we had a spare set. We put it on the truck for this last snow, and we don't have any spares. And it's just a matter of time before we throw a chain.
Yeah, no, I think about tire chains.
Yeah.
Good price
These
or
are
not.
V-bar. These are V-bar chains. I mean, I'm sure Steve knows what a V-bar chain is. They grip a lot better than just the regular chains. And we've gotten chains before
for our
from
roads.
O'Reilly's and Napa, and they just don't last.
Okay.
So is that price for 2 full sets?
Yeah,
No.
It says
Per
we needed
set.
2 and then there was a price.
there's a price of $379.95 per set plus shipping. You buy, and typically we usually buy 2 sets at a time, because we get less on the shipping.
Okay. Well, I was looking at it. I didn't see any that high. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, on their website, I didn't see anything that was that high. That's why I thought maybe it was for 2 pair.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't see anything near that for that size tire and truck that's anywhere near that cost. That's why I wondered. I guess I'm probably maybe not in the right place.
Keep in mind there's duals on the back of the 1-ton.
So you're saying per truck, you got duals and you're only putting duals on the back. So 2 sets is 4. So you're getting 2 sets of 4 at $379.
You're getting 1 set of 4 at $375. I'm asking for 2 full sets. Actually, this is not for the 1-ton. These are for the full size trucks.
The dumps.
But what I'm saying is for the set for the dual wheel trucks is 4 chains.
Yes.
That's why it's higher.
That's a set. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to jump in and move that we purchase the 2 sets of tire chains for the $375.95 each.
All right, Marty second. So everybody good?
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you. Also, we need a set of tires for the 06 Ford. And I received 1 quote from Cat's Tires, but I haven't got, and I've asked for quotes from the others, and I just didn't get them yet. So they should be coming in the next couple of days. I'll present them when I get the quotes.
Is the 06 Ford the F-250 or is that Rick's truck?
That's Rick's truck.
Okay.
That's the older one.
And do we typically
Randy, what
buy
did we
this
pay
as-
for the security tires?
Steve, honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember, Steve.
Seemed like it was under.
Well, I think they would be close in price. Obviously, these are going to be a little bigger tire, but
yeah,
I don't think that's a bad price for them.
These are 255 70 17s.
Just a standard F-150 truck tire. Do we buy just an all-terrain tire for that?
That's what it'll be. It's just an all-terrain tire. Yeah.
We ought to make sure when you're pricing, we get a harder compound tire. I noticed my trucks, they last a lot longer on these chip seal roads.
Okay.
Like a Cooper AT3 is ridiculously soft. You don't get very much wear on them here. They wear them out fast. The chip seal
So
roads.
what is it you're using? And I'll price them.
I bought a Goodyear like Ultra Track that have got a heck of a lot better because I travel a lot of chip seal roads with it.
Yeah.
But you should be able to ask your tire dealer, tell them you want a harder compound tire.
Okay.
And it'll wear a lot better on these chip seal roads. These roads are terribly rough on tires.
Yeah.
And the harder tire you can get, the better off it's going to wear on these hard roads.
Okay, I'll definitely ask that.
They should be able to tell you which one's got a harder compound.
Okay.
$2 million, I can fix that for you.
We'll just buy tires, Rex. Buy a lot of tires for $500,000 maybe.
The easy solution.
Yeah.
Well, over the next 500 years, we'll come out break even, won't we, Rex?
There you go.
It's a heck of a payback. All right. Cell phone for maintenance.
Yeah, we purchased cell phones for Rick and Elmer there several years ago. We're on the $45 a month plan. They're track phones, which has worked out fairly well. Rick's phone is trashed, so I'm I'd like to get another one for him. We'll stay with the same plan. Now, here's something I just came up with. Because Elmer doesn't use his, so there's no use paying for that plan. However, Jeff needs an AT&T phone. So whether or not he likes Elmer's phone or not, we may give him that one. If not, we'll just do away with Elmer's phone and just pay the $45 and a better phone for Rick. So
Jeff's gonna try Elmer's phone. Is that what
Well,
you
I
said?
hadn't even talked to him about it. I'm just now bringing that
All
up.
right.
But the
Well,
thought just came to me.
I'm fine with getting Rick a new phone. I mean, they're not that much to buy.
Right.
His a shot.
Right.
It's terrible shape. He needs something that's not.
Oh yeah, he's got it all taped up and everything. Yeah, I mean
I'm
that's
guessing
just kind
Jeff
of
would be okay without having one.
I mean, I've got a T-Mobile and Verizon iPhone. I'm not going to get another iPhone to be able to switch to AT&T. I will go out and get a prepaid phone and use it around the resort just to be able to keep in contact. I don't have any problem doing it.
okay. So if that's the case, we'll just do away with Elmer's phone and go from there.
Kind of excited about getting a flip phone like Randy.
Going back.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is, Jeff, yeah, AT&T is about the only thing that consistently works.
Yeah. Benefit of having a cell tower right there, I suppose, huh?
Yeah. There are places in the hills Verizon will work, but yeah. So yeah, no, definitely get Rick a phone. If Elmer's don't work, then we'll get you a phone too. Whatever works.
Well,
You can buy it inexpensive.
Elmer is fine with his personal phone. He's got all his contact numbers on there.
That's fine.
He doesn't use that one that we bought him, so I figured we just do away with that.
Either do away with it or transfer the service to Jeff so he has good service in the hills because he needs good service.
Well, he may not like that phone. I don't know.
And then we'll just disconnect it and get a different one. Those track phone type services, you can switch them pretty easily or cancel one and redo another one. That's the beauty of them. You have no contract.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
okay.
All right. Discussion items. Any more requests for expenditures, Randy or Jeff?
Just on a restaurant renovation.
What?
But we're not fully prepared for that yet. So
no. I will say from the amenities meeting, before we get too far in discussion items, the Health and Wellness Committee did acknowledge they need to get us an operating plan. They have one. They will get it to us. But it didn't look like there was a lot of money left over for the lodge remodeling. Largely we didn't have a lot of plans and cost and, vetted out. So we'll probably get enough this year to maybe do some architectural drawings, professional architectural drawings done up. And that's probably about what we'll get out of that. So we'll have to go to fundraising or some other sources this year. I don't know the final amount I had to leave before they were done, but it's kind of where we're at. All right. The discussion items, road expense. I don't think there's much change since we're pretty well done with roads for the year.
Right.
Randy, you want to go into part-time office employee discussion?
Can I ask a question on the roads?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what is the balance in the roads account?
The chip and seal account has $57,054 in it.
That's the road assessment account.
Yes, exactly. The roads account, there is no roads account. It's just part of the operating account, which we budget a certain amount every year.
So the amount that we pay every year is a roads assessment, doesn't go into a roads account?
Correct.
It just
goes into what's called the chip and seal account. That's really the road assessment account.
Yes.
That's the 157 and the 57. Okay. The roads expense is the 10% from the new member fee that's supposed to get allocated to road work. And that's
so under the chip and seal, we buy guardrail and guardrail posts and all that?
No.
What accounts does that come out of?
That comes out of the roads expense.
Okay. I guess I just don't understand. I'm too thick-skulled.
Well,
I hate the word chip and seal account because we do use it for asphalt. We do use it for other type of road products. But
Well, I mean, I've had people ask me, what's the difference between the CNS and the roads and the money we pay? And I don't have an answer for them when they've asked me, and that's why I wanted to ask tonight. I mean, it seems we're putting money in and the people want to know where's that money at and how's it being spent out, and we just talk about chip and seal.
Well, chip and seal is the $200 a year that you pay out to the club. That goes for the chip and seal materials, labor, and repairs that are attributed to the chip and seal process. Now, we do take the asphalt that we purchase out of there and a small amount of gravel. The gravel pretty much is the 411s that we use for repairs sometimes. The rest of it comes out of the roads expense. For instance, culverts, the rest of the road gravel, the chips we use in the wintertime comes out of the roads expense.
So if we're explaining it, is it easy enough to say that the chip and seal account is essentially for nothing but road surfacing?
Correct. It's really, it's the road
and the
assessment
labor
account.
and equipment repair. Yeah,
but it all is one bucket. Road.
correct.
It's all going to specifically the surface of the roads, not guardrails, not culverts.
Correct.
Okay.
This year we actually paid a third party out of that account for a good chunk of that to do the chip and seal. I like the term road. It's a road assessment account. I mean, we use it to resurface roads, but not just chip and seal, but sort of a carryover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Just in the nature of transparency, I mean, showing whatever it's called consistently, where it started at the beginning of the year, the expenses that come out of it, and the balance where it is at the end of the year. I guess it's not perfectly clear there. So that's fine. I just think occasionally when these things come up, I want to make sure we address them if someone talks to us.
Right.
Steve, I don't disagree, and I hope we can work something next time we do the budget and clean that up.
Well, because it's in the pot of money, and then there's little budgeted line items that are there, and people, I guess sometimes don't fully understand how everything just kind of runs out of a general fund, basically, like a township would. They really don't have separate accounts where this stuff comes from. It's all coming out of the general fund of the community. It's just another budgeted item.
Part of it earmarked money from the separate check you write every year. Okay. You good, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Part-time office employee.
I think Jeff, I'm going to let Jeff address this. Him and Penny has been talking about this. And so, Jeff, if you want to address this, I mean.
Sure. And I'll look to you for backup on the facts. I mean, I've got all of 7 days under my belt. But essentially, so Penny and Christina both full-time, both seemingly very efficient, very diligent in what they're doing, and they are consistently behind because of the workload that is that they're under. I don't know how that has changed or if it's changed at all in the last umpteen years, but I do know they're doing quite a bit for the board, even some of the secretary duties, even minutes, agendas, and that kind of thing. Certainly. With the numerous Article 9 letters that have been had over the last few months, going through iteration over iteration of the Article 9 letters, along with just general violation letters. And Randy, that's about all I've gotten so far from them. I'm still kind of evaluating.
Well, that is a big part of it, and the other part of it is the ACC work that Christina's been doing, which we never did before. We always did the permits, but the letters used to be sent out by the ACC chairman. Also, with that said, there is a whole lot more building going on this year than there has been in the past. So a lot of the calls and emails, Christina has been asked to do that instead of the ACC chairman doing that. And so that there's, once we get to the springtime and when there's more building going on and we have the boat registration, That's not going to happen. And so any help we could get from a part-time person to take up some of the slack of the board treasurer, which we're doing a lot of their work also, and the ACC work, that would be a tremendous help.
Okay.
And I know Penny has been dealing with ever since we had the new computers installed. She's been dealing with computer problems. Jeff experienced that quite a bit today with his new laptop. And so
And I still am. The picture is only because of my iPhone sitting right against the laptop. So
yeah.
I assume they're working to fix that, but
yes, it may need a new webcam, which is complicated at the shop. So
all right. So what are you guys proposing we do? We hire a permanent person or a temp? And then if it's a permanent person, like how many hours and what type of level of person are we looking at hiring?
Here's the scoop with that. I said for me, I'm still really assessing. I've had the conversations with Linda briefly, as she had actually brought it up, and then certainly with Christina and Penny. What I've asked them to do is go back and say, okay, tell me which of your duties you would reassign and how that would lead us to only 40 hours a week for Christina, 40 to 43, 45 for Penny, which I think she's doing more than that right now. And they're supposed to be getting back to me with that. So Randy, unless you've got a definite proposal, I think this is more of a, let's start talking about it and give us until the first of the year to come up with it. If I was budgeting today, I would say, let's put in 24 hours full time or 24 hours year round.
I think that's going to be fair.
Because we have to budget this in. I mean, it's going to have to be, we'll have to factor that into the budget when we do that, and target, a January timeframe to get that person on board ish. So it's something we have to budget, and we have to. But I will say, for the, our office staff has not grown since I've been involved, but our club has grown. I mean, we've just a lot more to manage. With number of members, the amount of workload that they do has grown exponentially. So, other discussion?
No, I think that if Jeff gets together and, sees exactly what he's looking for, the 24 hours per year, I mean, per week, per year, if that's what's needed, fine. I don't think it's something that you're going to have a temporary, because it just seems like every other time we turn around, there's something new being put on the plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Steve or Marty or Rex, you guys got comments? Or
No, I agree with you. I agree with John.
okay, well, hopefully by then, Jeff, when we talk about budget, we'll try to factor that in, and then hopefully we make a decision in our next meeting once you guys have a little more time to figure out exactly what you need.
Absolutely.
All right, lights on the Lake of the Four Seasons Dam. So
okay, we talked about this the last meeting, and I was incorrect in saying that what I thought he was Gordon Fink was providing for us was additional fixtures, which is basically the lights on the end of the poles, and that was incorrect. What he was proposing was to put another full light fixture post in that big gap, because people think that looks kind of funny there where we have that big gap. We do have a lot. But Gordon's concern was that big gap in between there didn't look quite right. And so I think I sent out that quote today. We are getting a fixture for ADOC. They're replacing that. That's a no charge. But then for a whole new fixture in between the last two lights is an addition, is $1,430. And so I talked to Rick about that, and he said, well, that might be a little bit difficult because we've got the electric run and it might be under the blacktop, but I don't believe it is. So these lights are going to be discontinued. And regardless of whether we want to put that light there, it might not be a bad idea to purchase that just so we have an extra one.
Is this the fixture or an entire? I thought
It's the entire, yeah, it's the entire thing. Yeah.
Can't we just buy an extra fixture too instead of a whole light?
Possibly.
I guess I'm questioning, do we really need another light in between the two docks? The point of that was having at the dock so people coming off their boats after dark and stumbling a little bit can get up to the path.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I thought he meant. This was just additional fixtures to replace the fixtures themselves. Once I talked to him about it, he says, no, it's the whole pole and fixture, and they're discontinuing them. And he felt, he had talked to others, they felt it looked kind of funny because there's such a big gap in them. The first 4 there are all at the same distance away. It's just the one down on F dock is so far away. I agree with you, Jim. I don't think we need another fixture, a whole thing, but I do think we need a couple extra fixtures if we can get them.
At least one extra fixture, but I don't see the need for a whole new pole. But
and that's fine. I'll question him and see if we can just get the end.
I think we just need a couple fixtures just for backup, 1, possibly 2. See what the price is on. We don't need another pole.
What's you guys, Steve or Marty? Or
Yeah, I agree with what JJ was saying. Probably just a couple spare fixtures, but I don't see a need to do anything else.
Okay. All right. I'll see what I can find out and let you know. This next item here, let's see, where am I at? Was presented by, what'd I do with it? Oh, Kurt, Jim, how do you pronounce his last name? Do you know?
not offhand.
Is it Hoft? Because we've always had, yeah, Kurt. Okay. Kurt owns an IT company. It's called Easy IT. He did a study and contacted our rep on the Wi-Fi up in the restaurant, which is very poor. We've had complaints about it for quite a while, and I did not realize that it was outdated. I was never told that, but his proposal, he has 2 options, which I believe I sent this out today too, didn't I? One was to add internet connectivity to the bar, and it would be at $50 a month, plus $15 for a static IP address. Now, what I'm not sure I understand exactly his quotes here. He's got two different options. The first one he thinks would be the best, but he's also talking about adding access points. And it says either way, we pay for a managed access point with our fiber bill. I think we could get rid of that $45 a month cost and put in an access points that has no recurring cost. I just kind of need more information here. I'm not really up on Wi-Fi very much, considering I still just have the flip phone. And but
sent this out to you guys.
Yeah. So I think we need a little bit more information here, but regardless of the fact, we do need better Wi-Fi in the restaurant and bar.
Is this gentleman part of Spectrum, or is he independent contractor?
No, he's a member. Kurt is a member that lives on the lodge on the Party Cove. of the lake. He knows there was a huge connectivity issue in the lodge, with, customer members trying to get on and, trying to have any type of connectivity around the lodge. And so he offered to meet with a Spectrum rep and kind of make some recommendations on how we can improve the Wi-Fi in the lodge area. I think it's a great idea, because if we go to more TV, end up using more TVs, we can stop running cables. We can start using, Fire sticks or something like that. But he's got a lot of points in here. I sent it to you. Yeah, there's some extra costs and some additional up front, but there's also some things we can cut out of our existing plan to basically modernize the service.
So we put costs up front and knock out some reoccurring costs.
Yeah, I mean, there's $50 a month plus $15 static IP for high speed, but then you eliminate, let's say you eliminate a managed access point, you get rid of $45. So that's kind of a wash. And there's some access points we'd have to buy, but yeah, we'd get a lot better service up there.
We're just putting it, basically, I think what he's doing is putting his own Wi-Fi system in like he did at the lake. Instead of paying Spectrum to have their box there and their taps, we buy the equipment instead of paying $50 a month for it for Spectrum.
Yeah.
He's just saying, up front, and again, he knows how to set the stuff up and make it work too.
Yeah, basically what we've got up there is super outdated and slow, is what he's basically trying to tell us. So, yeah, I guess I encourage everyone to read this over, what I sent, and if we got questions, so we could try to maybe approve this next time. It's not a huge outlay, but I think everyone should read it over and ask questions of what he's wanting to do.
What's the total outlay for everything?
It looks like we need $299 for a router, firewall, and access points are $180, and we need 2 of those, so $360 and $300. You get $660 plus tax. I think he said he would. I think he was. Don't quote me on this, but I think he was offering to install it for free.
Yeah, it says he donates the labor. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to quote that too much without reading it, but yeah.
So basically, a year, 12 months at $50 is there's our break even point in a year, and have our own equipment.
With better service.
Yeah,
right.
And basically what he's saying is what we've got is ridiculously out of date. So.
Okay.
But all right, so everyone can look that over, and we'll try to make a decision in our next meeting.
Okay, then the next issue, Rex, I think on here is about the 2LMN proposal on Lake Eagle Claw.
Yes, we've got a professional services proposal from 2LMN. They came out, oh my gosh, it's probably been a month and a half ago. And we walked the Eagle Claw Dam and developed a plan, and they put some numbers together. And so it's a fully professional, it's a good professional quote. Everything's in here. The total dollars is $5,900. It is 2 separate proposals. The first one is surveying. I did not want to get us into the point of changing the height of the outlet riser without exactly knowing what the elevations are compared to what the original, or not the original, but the latest survey from ODNR. So we'll spend $1,500 to, they'll have to go grab a benchmark, or they've got one somewhere, and then they will survey the top of the dam to make sure that it is not, the elevation of the top of the dam is not changing. They will then obtain a shot at the current principal spillway riser, so we know exactly where that is and how far off of the planned 845 feet that it is. Then they're going to put just a few markers around the edges of the dam to show where that normal pool level would be at 845. And then what I want to do with those is we can kind of interpolate off of those and see what that's going to do to some of the property owners. I'd also like to I'll take my GPS out onto other portions of the lake, and we can get close enough to see where that 845 is going to fall in different locations. So it'll help us check that out. Next thing they'll do is do some surveying at the proposed weir locations on each corner of the dam. And that way, so they've got all the surveying complete, so we know where we are and where we're going. So that's $1,500. The next $4,400 is they have some preliminary designs for 2 monitoring weirs already. They're going to clean those up, resize them for what the information that they saw when we went on our visit, and then also what they get from the survey. They'll kind of work with a supplier of a precast weir that our guys can just drop right in and work with that supplier to get the right size and get us a quote. And then they'll work with Rick and his team on how to install it correctly, get everything buttoned up and help us get those weirs in. And the reason for the weirs are so that we can better measure and track seepage from the dam. And with it just coming out of a pipe or just letting it come out of the slope, we have no idea what we're getting. But with these weirs, we can actually measure it consistently every time and understand what we have and if we have a problem or if it's the same seepage that we've had for the past 50 years. So I would like, I think that these prices are quite reasonable. They're also been helping me with the, there's a maintenance plan that we need to put together. And once I get some time from my real job, I'm going to start working on that. But they're helping with that as all. So I guess I think I would like that the club would, that we'd get a motion to approve and we get them started on this survey and on this other work so that we can make a decision on raising the level of that lake and getting Rick's team ready to put in the weirs. So any questions?
Now, Rex, this does not include the construction of the weirs, though, does it?
No, not at all. No, it's just getting the information and the quotes. Yeah.
Right.
No, we would have to cost it out. It gives you a material list from EC Vavert on 33, which is probably the bulk of the cost. Probably a cement, which would be basically a cement structure. We would have to figure out how to drop in and then provide the rest of the material to measure. Jeff, are you familiar at all? Have you got any background on Lake Eagle Claw?
A little bit. I went out there with Rick today. We drove back to the dam, and he was talking to me about the water penetration that we've had through the dam and the dye test that he did.
Yeah, so you're already an expert on it. You already know more than I do. So, anyway, Rex has been really working with our engineers on this because we have a dam inspection coming up in 2022.
Yes.
I believe from the ODNR. So we're trying to basically take some recommendations from that last inspection and put them in place before that next inspection. I
Recommendation from the last inspection to actually affect a repair or just to engineer a monitoring system?
Mostly just the monitoring system.
Mostly monitoring. We can provide that. Brandy, can you provide that to Jeff so you can read for his reading pleasure?
Yes.
Yeah, we have that. We have that report from the last, I think it was 16. They did the last one, or 17. But we're trying to get prepared for the next one because there's several recommendations in there. But I think this is a good proposal.
Is this a lump sum price or time and expense?
It is lump sum.
And
How
Jeff,
does
for
this fall
your,
in?
Steve, go ahead.
I was just wondering, so have we accomplished all we needed to do at Lake of Four Seasons with 2 element? I guess I've not followed close enough, Randy. I mean, Jim, whoever, to where we were talking about doing some improvements on Lake Four Seasons.
Well, the
Are,
Lakes
are we
Committee,
done with that? I mean, is where I'm asking where we're at on that, I guess.
what we were talking to to LMN about for Lake of Four Seasons was bringing us a design for a smaller silt trap for the 2 feeder creeks at the north end that still need silt traps. The Lakes Committee did have that as their amenity request, which I think has probably been approved. So yes, there is actually a Lake of Four Seasons 2 element project, but it's not in our operations. It'll be a Lakes Committee amenity project. So
Just wanted to just make sure we mentioned it so the people that live on Lake of Four Seasons in that area understand that we're not forgetting about that issue there. I guess I wanted to make sure where we're at.
And Jeff, for what I don't know if Rick told you, basically we about 2 years ago we made a decision to lower the lake of Eagle Fall Lake. We cut off part of the spillway. Now we cut off about 30 inches. That only lowered it at high pool. Most of the summer, this doesn't reach the spillway because we just don't get enough, unless we have a really wet year. And most of the time it doesn't reach the spillway, just because it's got some natural leakage in the dam. So it really only affects the initial pool of the water in the spring, but there are times it does get up higher. But we have had members comment that they would like the initial pool to be higher so that the lake stays up higher longer.
At least we can give it every chance.
Yep. All right. So does anybody want to make a motion or additional questions, comments on this?
I can make a motion to go with 2 element proposal. Rex, I appreciate everything you've done with that, and I think it's going to be helpful in the long run when we have our inspections.
Thank you.
Well done. I'll second it.
Okay. You guys in favor of this, Marty and?
Let me think about it. Yes.
We don't have as much discontent as the board. Yeas and nays to them.
Randy, you'll take care of that, or do you want, I guess you guys have to sign it. I can't sign it.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Yeah,
all right.
Randy or Jeff can sign that. Let's get that.
Thank you.
All right, rolling. Package handlers.
As you may well know, Randall is out. He had surgery on his shoulder yesterday morning. He called me right after surgery, which was kind of surprising. It was a 3-hour surgery, but it appears that everything is going to be fine. We don't know for sure. He won't know till probably the 18th, I think he said, when he'll be back to work. But anyway, we went over the issue of packages, and I sent out that package count yesterday, or may have sent it out today. Last week we got in 770 packages. We've put in the container, so we've got the space, and we've also got room to spread things out. Maintenance did a good job building shelves down there. Randall put together a plan of what to put where. So they're going to do all the USPS, United States Postal Service packages in the small building connected to the guard shack, and then the FedEx and the UPS will go out in the container. We've had a little bit of kickback from the security guards, but I think they're catching on to the idea with the the plan that Randall put together, and it just so happens that Cash is the one that's getting to implement that plan. As far as getting in volunteer package handlers, Randall was not crazy about that at all, simply because the experience has been that they don't show up. There's going to be a lot of training, worried about missing somebody's package. But that's still not out of the question. I told him that, you know what, we don't have enough people to staff this, and we may just have to end up doing it. And so that's still on the table. We do have a list of volunteers that said they would be more than welcome to help out down there. I know security is not happy about it, but if it gets to the point where it's just going to be way too much, we're just going to have to do that because we just don't have the manpower to handle all those packages. And I think we're just going to have to take the chance of people, of members, maybe a package or two gets lost from time to time, which we don't like that at all. As far as we were worried about HIPAA regulations, and that's not going to be in effect. All medicines will go to the guard shack and into the refrigerator, so that won't really have anything to do with any of the other packages. But I think we're still going to play this by ear for just a little bit longer, just to see how it works out. With the organization that Randall's put together, it may be helpful, but that still doesn't discount the fact that we're going to have a whole bunch of packages down there. So I think we're just going to play it by ear for just a little bit longer. Here's how it works.
So I understand Randall's concerns with people not showing up, which if they don't show up, you just continue business. But what's the rest of security's thought on having people go get the packages for them? Are they in favor of it, or are they against having the help?
Well, I think Randall speaks for the whole group. They're willing to do what they can do. If they do get overrun, like I say, I told him, I said, we're just going to have to go that route. But we'll play his route the way it is for the time being. But I don't see him sustaining the productivity of his staff with all the packages that we know that's going to be coming here in a couple of weeks. And as far as that goes, there's only 2 weeks till Christmas anyway.
Well, yeah, you don't have much time to sit here and evaluate or do something. We're either going to have to run with it. I mean, and again, we're taxing them with packages, which is not their duty. Membership wants them on security patrol, not handling packages. And I guess I really hate to see us back up and say, well, in the past, we always used to have problems. I mean, when we lived too far in the past with volunteers, we're not even giving these people a chance. And I've seen the list of people, and they seem like they're the right group of people that are willing to put their time in and have that time to do it. I mean, I appreciate his concerns with it, but I think for the community, we need them on the security duty and not taking a package that's last name ends in C and make sure it ends up in the bin that says C, because I think those volunteers, I think we're selling them short if we think we can't have them do that.
Well, I don't disagree with you, Steve, at all. I don't. The issue is the documentation, and when you have to document the tracking numbers, which is up to 12 or 13 numbers, and it has to be accurate. I think that's when you run into the problems, is the documentation and then getting the right package to the right member, looking up the phone numbers, because security is going to have to do that. Because of the COVID restrictions, we don't really want the volunteers in the guard shack very much if we can help it. And so the guards are going to have to be looking up all the phone numbers, and then with the information that a volunteer provides to them. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. It's just that, it's going to be kind of a tough training process.
Well, we just can't go through looking everything in the negative eye. I mean, Mike, these people have cell phones, and I'm sure if we give them 10 people to call, they'd be happy to call their neighbors and say, hey, you got a package down here. I mean,
is there any way, Randy, that from the database that we can just pull and print? Because I don't think you'd have to do it very often. Pull and print names and phone numbers. Because I know we don't want members having access to other members' information in the database. I get it because of delinquencies and whatnot. But can we
have books.
just
We have
pull
a
the name
membership
and
book
and
that
the phone
does
number
that.
fields? What's that? What'd you say,
we
Steve?
have a membership book that shows everybody's names,
There's a
where they
directory.
live, and their phone numbers. So it is common knowledge.
If we use that instead of, and you know, if it can be sorted appropriately by last name or whatever makes the most sense, by lot number, if we just use that instead of worrying about the database, that was one argument off of Randall's table.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. Yeah.
My suggestion is that we don't try and do this between now and Christmas. I mean, let's get through the holiday, and assuming that this is going to be a long-term issue because of COVID and because everybody's used to ordering online now instead of running to the local Walmart, make the volunteer program a long-term solution, not a let's try and get it done and everybody trained and up to speed in 2 weeks at the busiest time of the year.
I thought the whole point was to get something in place to handle the holiday increase in packages.
Yeah, we
And
can't think about this for 2 weeks. It'll be done.
I mean, it's really not that hard. You get a package, you call somebody, and you put it over there, or you sort it out alphabetically, or however they do it, right? Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it doesn't seem
Well,
too hard to
it
me.
is a little bit more involved than that because when the packages
I don't see
come
any
in,
use. I don't see any problem with at least trying it. Put the volunteers there. If it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
we'll take another look at it. Yeah.
You know, and that's even for tracking the packages. We really need to look at this writing down in a book and copying stuff over. We could have, you could have a smartphone there and snap a picture. You convert it to a PDF with a free app on that phone, and you could put it into an email address, and we could create another email address and just send everything right to that. And you could have all your tracking there, what packages come in on what day and who they were for, instead of handwriting logs too.
So,
There's a lot better ways that we can help these guys.
But where are we tracking the packages with the tracking number based on the carrier and everything like that? Because, I mean, whoever you buy something for is going to provide you the tracking information through that carrier. And once it arrives here, I mean, they're done with it. And then we carry that on so that we know, because I haven't signed for anything recently when I pick something up, right? They just hand me the package.
Yeah, well, but they know who you are. I mean, there's a lot of members, they don't know who they are. And so, yeah, it is important to write those tracking numbers down. Now, Steve's idea is a good idea. We even talked about getting a scanner. Scanner would be super. I mean, it would be a little bit more expensive, but we could just scan them, and it'd be the same process as Steve's talking about, and create a report. It all would be right there. Of course, that's
got to be automated.
Yeah.
Too much pencil and paper going on for this year. It takes too much time for them to do it.
And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. But it's a little bit late to start something automated now.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying the first of the year we should, get Randall back here, and while he's recouping, get him thinking about some of this and a little research on it. And we can teach those guys. It's not that difficult to do that.
Right.
We inventory products and receive stuff like that all the time, and it's pretty simple. It's not difficult.
To some people, it's not difficult. Yeah.
Well, push of a button is a whole lot better than trying to read a 16-digit number and copy it down exactly right. And
no,
that's
I don't
what
disagree.
the concern is.
Yeah, that's the concern. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll have to figure it out. You got 2 weeks left, basically, here, Christmas shopping, and your volunteers are here and wanting to do it. We want to have the spirit of volunteerism here, and I hate to see them get sold down the river because of something that happened 5, 10, 20 years ago.
I agree.
Maybe it won't work, and I'll be the first one to say it didn't work, but I hate to shoot it in the foot before we try.
No problem.
Okay.
I do want to give it sounds like we owe those guys a pretty big attaboy for looking at that and coming up with a plan and thinking through that, I'm glad we've got employees that will do that, and I appreciate that. So,
Yeah, 700 packages a week it hasn't exploded the way I thought it would. I was thinking we'd probably be doing 1,000, but it's still a lot of packages if you think about it. I mean,
There's still some time left too.
yeah, and it could get worse. But so, all right, future meetings set up.
Yeah, this is for Jeff's benefit. At some point, hopefully, you folks will go back to in-person meetings, and I have yet to show Jeff how to do that. But I will here before I leave. Is there any changes you think we should make on the in-person meetings as opposed to how we have been having them? Now, one issue is that we have a new setup, a new sound setup, put together by Greg Blank, which was tested and seemed to work fine, but it was right next to where the soundboard is now. Was not stretched out into the room. It took a whole lot of time when I had to move all the equipment upstairs to the dining room and then break it all back down for a Thursday night service. But this is going to be kind of up to me because I'm the one who's always set it up. Christina's done a little bit, and so I'll just have to go over with Jeff how to do that because I'm assuming we will not be having. I mean, we've only got one more meeting this year and one more board meeting, and I know the board meeting's not going to be in person. I assume that the management meeting will probably not be in person. So the issue is I'm going to do the best I can to show Jeff how to set this up. But if it's not going to work, then there may be a problem.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't anticipate us having meetings at least till January, and then maybe another month, at least month by month here.
Well,
so these numbers settle down.
Everything that I've seen out in industry, that companies are not even thinking about returning to their offices until next summer. So, yeah. I mean, we have a good 6-7 months, really. I would think and recommend that we just kind of stick in this format until things settle out more.
Yeah, until this vaccine starts rolling out and this thing starts getting back under control, I don't see the need to have in-person meetings. But Randy, I think you should show Jeff how we typically would set it up, and we'll play with the Mevo camera when we get back to that point. We never had a problem before of anybody hearing the management committee because we were closer, we had mics. The problem became is when they spread the board out and everyone had mask on, and then you just couldn't hear it on that little camera. And so,
and the acoustics are a lot different upstairs than in the basement.
Yes. So we'll probably stick with what we got, show them how to set up what we had, and we'll address it if it doesn't work.
Randy, it couldn't hurt. Let us know if you have a little advance time and you can do that. Some of us around too. Wouldn't hurt for 2 or 3 of us to know, because that way it doesn't just pin one guy down to no one either.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah. I mean, you guys are familiar with the setup. Jeff's not familiar with it whatsoever. The only difference is the different equipment, the connections we're using, which is a lot better. And so you guys were familiar with their connections anyway. So I'll show him and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Even took a picture of the connections.
What we typically, this episode doesn't get live streamed till tomorrow. I'm recording this, and then tomorrow we will post it. Well, our typical meetings, we stream to a Mevo camera, and it live streams basically right to YouTube off my phone, and Steve's got it set up, but we'll show you how to do that also when we get to that point.
Okay.
So it just basically uses an app off your phone and just live streams to YouTube. All right.
That's all I had to say about that. That's something that I'll show Jeff, and hopefully he'll be able to put that together. This next item is I was on the phone with our attorney Jeff Spangler. I happened to mention to him that that I am the statutory agent, and with me leaving, there's somebody else that's going to have to be appointed that position. And Jeff said it doesn't take long to do, but it needs to be done pretty quickly here. Jeff Spangler, I'm talking about, our attorney.
Yep.
So anyway, the question was, what is a statutory agent? So I looked that up, and it's just somebody that that gets the legal information first. And actually, what happens with our situation is that goes to our attorney, and then our attorney turns it over to me, and I turn it over back to him. So actually, our attorney suggested that he has a company called Jeff. You remember what they called that company?
Ohio something.
Oh yeah, Ohio. It was Ohio. It's Ohio Valley Agency. Is what it was. And basically, what that means is that the attorney would serve as our statutory agent, and that happens a lot, from what I understand. And Jeff was more comfortable with that than naming him as a statutory agent. So I'm asking you folks if that's the route we want to go here.
And let me
I
tell
think it's
you,
a board decision.
one of the challenges is that nobody so far has been able to tell me the definition of residency as it relates to statutory agent. So I don't know if I'm eligible. Is it like college or concealed carry residency where it needs to be a year? Is it immediate upon getting an Ohio driver's license or taking a job or getting an address in Ohio? Even the attorney wasn't quite sure of that. This does get him the notices a couple of days sooner, and then it would be his responsibility to pass them on to us. But let's him get to work on them a couple of days quicker, if that means anything.
I think it's the right way to go. You typically wouldn't want in somebody's name, you know, something happens to your GM, you want this in a corporation's name just for statutory reason, notifications. But I don't know if this is a management issue or a board issue. It might be a board.
Well, it would definitely be a board issue, but I just wanted to bring it up to you folks. Yeah.
I think it's the right thing to do. It might be a small cost, but it does protect the club. So
Yeah, it's actually not very much big a cost at all. It doesn't cost much to do it. It just needs to get done.
yeah. Okay. I'm good with it. Anybody else got a problem with it? Or?
I send it to the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you write things down, Mary Beth.
Wake up, Mary Beth.
Yeah, wake up. All right. What do we got next? Lodge updates. I'll give a brief update and let Jeff talk to you. So we have been running. We're pretty well done with the food trucks. I think we have Schmitz maybe this Saturday, and then we're going to be done with food trucks. Sales have been decent. We keep payroll down quite a bit. We are offering pizza and subs, exploring just some base salads too. Still trying to perfect, you know, kind of the service outlet of that and that aspect. I don't know if we'll run this through January, February, or March or not. It's more to be learned. Like I said, I don't know how much we got from the amenities process. I don't think it was very much. There wasn't much left. So, you know, with that said, we're still targeting. I still would like to target like Easter to open full scale. There's a lot to get done in front of that. Is, you know, hiring a chef, hiring a front end manager, you know, staffing up, figuring out the menu and all that good stuff. So what it really needs to be. So Jeff, What do you got on that?
Well, first of all, we actually are doing better. And granted, you can't eat pizza and subs every day, but we're actually doing significantly better on the nights the food truck's not there overall revenue. Friday we did close to $1,000 in revenue. When it was just the pizza and subs, no food truck there. Thursday, I want to say we had a surprise food truck. I don't remember, that may have been the previous week.
Yeah, no, I think it was this week. You only been here a week.
Was it? Oh, that's true. Good point. burrito, whatever it was. And apparently the food wasn't all that good, so we were selling a lot of the pizzas anyway. Pizza's a bigger seller than subs. We'll have to see if the subs are worth continuing. And the payroll has been okay. I think we've got too many people in there, particularly in the kitchen. That said, I stuck around until about 8:30 on Friday and kind of worked the dining room, tried some of the pizza, very good pizza, and kind of saw some of the chinks in the armor there. I really want to spend this Friday back in the kitchen and work with them to see how we can cut down the labor back there. I think it's a bunch of kids. I think they're not being as efficient. They really haven't gotten the training that they need to get in order to minimize the labor back in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
My thought is now, maybe we close down for Christmas week because I don't see a bunch of people going for pizza on Thursday or Friday, Saturday of Christmas week. But I would like the chance to get a couple of salads added, maybe even some hot wings. Fryers are easy. And a couple of other things that we can put in the fryers, and even ramp up sales even more. I will tell you, the work in the dining room on Friday, people love being there. They love the camaraderie, the fellowship, whatever you want to call it. They truly enjoyed being there. We sold plenty of beer, even sold some wine. Really not selling a lot of hard liquor right now, but I don't know that we've got somebody that's a phenomenal bartender right now. Jeannie had said her skills pretty basic on the bartender side, as is mine. That also, I guess with the renovation, my understanding, my impression was that a renovation would be taking place sooner rather than later, but I don't think we're going to get there sooner. I think we're gonna have what we've got for a bit. So, what were you going to say, Jim?
Yeah, I would say on the renovations, I mean, I think we might get a plan together this year, but it's going to take longer than I think what we think. Time you get plans, get approved, get through committee, get membership comment, and then figure out where you're going to get the money. I honestly don't see it happening this year before we target Easter to open. I just don't think you can back it up. And
I agree.
The biggest issue is if you want to ask for money, you have to have some solid plans in place, and I don't think we're going to have that. It's probably over aggressive to think we would. So I think the best strategy is just to continue forward with what we got. Use what money we get from entities to get those architectural plans together, and target a next year type. When can we remodel? But just start moving forward with a real plan to reopen the lodge full scale as COVID hopefully dies down in late spring.
Okay. The floor in the kitchen, was that money already established and set aside?
Oh yeah, yes. That money was. The amenities only had 16,000, but we really had 18.5. That money was from last year. I did get board approval to re-roll that money, so that money is available to us to get the new kitchen floor.
Okay.
So the way the process worked, we didn't use it last year because we just chose not to do the kitchen while we're closing it. I asked the board at the last meeting, or our board rep asked that we roll that money over. The board did approve that, so it is re-available to get a new floor in the kitchen. Now, if it goes over the 18.5, the management committee can vote to use that money.
Okay. But and I'm going to tell you, and this is just personal recommendation. I don't. So the quarry tile that's in the kitchen proper, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think you can get a grout blade and clean the grout out that way, and then go in and actually seal it like it probably should have been done to begin with. And then as long as you keep up with the sealing the sealant once a year, you usually have a lot better luck keeping the crud out of it. My understanding in the kitchen, that was the primary problem, was the health department had issues with all the built up crud in the grout.
And it leaked it leaked down in the office when they would mop.
Right.
Water,
right.
Or try to clean it.
I'd be curious to see how much water they're actually using for mopping. Because if you just use a damp mop, that shouldn't be happening. Period. But I'm also not seeing any, and Rick and I did a pretty thorough check of it today. I'm not seeing anywhere the water would be penetrating. So I'm guessing it's got to be behind the walls. So I'm wondering if the answer isn't to just put whatever the opposite of bullnose, one of the concave tiles in against what's there now, and then go up a tile or two up the wall. And then you can silicone however you need to silicone behind it. I truly don't think it needs an entirely new floor. Now the pizza area, we need some of the new vinyl composite tile there, but what did we count? 8 pieces, not even 8 pieces, 6 pieces that are necessary to be replaced that are broken. And then the big problem becomes the walk-in cooler, which in my mind, you just take that linoleum up, etch the floor, scrub the floor somehow, and seal the concrete and call it a day. There's no reason to have tile and walk-in my mind.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think?
So I mean, a little bit more research to it. I'd like to get a flooring installer out there and see if we can go up the wall. But I think that'll resolve most of the problems, unless there's some penetration site that I didn't see. But that grout's pretty tight. It shouldn't be getting through the grout. And all of the penetrations with electrical lines and drain lines that I saw, they're all pretty well sealed. So unless there's something that was hiding from me. Okay.
Yeah, no, the cove molding, Jeff, as you were talking about,
thank you.
Is good. I mean, if we can seal it right. I don't know. I think maybe, Randy, you may know better than I do, but is there a problem with the separation in the drains, between the drains and the floor? Is that where some seepage could be coming from? Because it doesn't have to come directly down, as you know. Seepage could follow a line and come down someplace else. So I don't know if the drains are something that should be looked at also.
Maybe, but yeah, I think part of it is again, using a damp mop, even a wet mop, if it's not sloppy wet, there shouldn't be anything coming through because you're not letting the water get away from you. I have to imagine there was either a hose being run or somebody just dumping over mop bucket of water and then trying to slop mop it, and that'll leak in almost any above ground kitchen.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got Rick's working on that vinyl composite tile, the few pieces of that that need to be replaced because I guess we've gotten dinged on that by the health department, and then that separation between separation of the linoleum and the wall that's about 1.5 inches wide now along one end of the walk-in, but we can get the linoleum pulled up if we do go through a shutdown, get everything out of the cooler, relocate it somewhere, and then get that pulled up and spend a few days really cleaning that up and scraping that floor in there.
Good.
Okay. Am I okay to kind of free speak on the lodge real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I am engaging a few GPOs or group pricing organizations, because typically when you're an independent, whether you're ordering from Cisco, from Benny Keith, from US Foods, whoever you're ordering from, you're overpaying. Integra and Vendra and Birch Street are the 3 that I'm looking at, where Birch Street's really has access to the other 2. But typically you go through those, and they were set up by hotel companies originally, by the Marriotts and Hiltons of the world separately. You're going to see a 10 to 15% discount, not just on food, not on alcohol, unfortunately, but HD Supply, Ferguson Enterprises, Integra's got a phenomenal agronomy program for agronomy chemicals. Office Depot, I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on of major suppliers that you can get group purchasing discounts on. So unless there are some sacred local suppliers that I don't know about that you're gonna tell me just to leave it alone, then I'd like to go ahead and pursue those and just know that I'm not wasting time to be able to get better pricing on a whole slew of different things.
I don't think there's any taboo as far as getting better pricing on food. I think we've always suspected we were overpaying. So, I mean, periodically it's probably okay to run some specials from locally purchased food, but I think by and large, getting our costs down, and keeping, is huge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it appears just some of the prices I'm seeing in the POS system, the point of sale system, it looks like food cost is probably a big part of the loss. I think we're running an extremely high food cost. I've not put it on a spreadsheet or anything yet because I don't have most of the pricing, but I think if you can save there, you're going to add that much more to the bottom line, or at least lessen the loss quite a bit more.
Yeah, and I think that you can not only lower our food price, if we can pass that along, we can get more butts and seats, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the waste side of things, I know I talked to you a little bit about this, but I'd like to consider getting a couple of additional coolers, maybe down in the clubhouse, and having perishables down there for members to buy to keep from having to run off to the local gas station or even I was going to say HEB, Kroger. If we can keep some milk and eggs and that kind of thing in there, then we can turn our inventory that much quicker, add to the profit a little bit, and give everybody a pretty good deal on this stuff because we're buying it all in bulk, and we don't need to see the same profit margin as a Kroger does, and certainly not a convenience store. And then you never know, maybe that even feeds itself into beer and wine for an extra $400 a year. I think you get an off-premise consumption beer and wine license to be able to sell that stuff by the 6-pack or 12-pack.
How would you manage the small carryout stuff? I mean, just from the lodge staff, or
either lodge or clubhouse. I would suggest the clubhouse. I think it at least on what I know of the resort so far, it tends to be a little bit more central. Just take up a little bit of space on one wall. Rick tells me there's plenty of power left down there to be able to plug in some 110 volt double door coolers. Start small. I don't think you do anything crazy, and I don't have pricing on coolers or anything yet. It's just an initial conversation. Okay. Did you want to pull up any of the floor plans? Do we want to go in depth now? We want to hold off on that?
I would hold off. We can share those at some point.
Okay.
I'm not sure we're going to get a lot of traction until we find out where we're at funding wise and food service committee wise. But
okay.
I think we can share them with the management committee. I didn't want to share them. We're still trying to hold off. Some of these are pretty preliminary sketches. So
yeah,
maybe we can hold off for tonight on that.
Okay, very good.
But I think Steve perked up when he hears cost savings on food.
Well, it's something we've talked about, so
Yeah.
and you're absolutely right. I mean, especially with your experience on that side, it's I just tried to do some cost comparison between the 3 or 4 vendors that service our area and try to get something going too. But something that you have is on a much larger scale, and you're never going to save ourselves into prosperity. But if we can lower that cost, still offer a quality product at a good price. To Jim's point that we've, he and I've been alike on this for a long time. The key is getting the butts in the seats at our 2 establishments and making those people happy so they stay there and content there. so we don't end up in a problem that we've had to experience in the past. So, no, that's good. Yes, I got excited about that. Look at me, I love to eat. Occasionally like to drink.
Hey, John,
Again, the
how was,
downside is none of them have discounts on alcohol, unfortunately. So
No,
Yeah, we've been there.
that's all territorial.
John, how are the sales of our beer? Are we going through that quick enough to not have a problem?
I haven't talked to Jeannie lately, but last time I did talk to her at the end of last week, our beer's flowing, put it that way. I want to go down and check the inventory to see what we have left because I think there's still some in the chiller of the pale ale. The thing is, we got to figure out if we have kegs that we can refill. That's usually been the problem towards the end. When we have all the kegs filled and something in the chiller, we have to move the kegs. We've been talking about, maybe having a growler special. I don't see that as a bad idea. I got to run some numbers on that though to see exactly, where we're not going to lose money.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we're turning it right now, so that's good.
Oh
It is turning, but maybe
yeah.
not
In fact,
fast
we
enough.
don't have a guest tap right now. We've held off on the guest tap because we weren't sure if things were going to shut down again or whatever. So we do not have a guest tap. We only have our pale ale and our lager, and I think there's probably a Yingling down at the clubhouse too.
Jeff, for reference, when we shut down we had to shut completely down for COVID,
right.
and we started back up with only the clubhouse operations because the lodge was closed. We did end up having to dump some, I think, pale ale out because we had a few kegs that just got started not tasting right. So we're trying to keep a good tab on inventory. Maybe you and JJ could meet down there.
Sure.
JJ's really volunteered to step up with the brewery stuff and just trying to make sure we watch our inventory and say, well, okay, we need to move some pale ale. We can run growler specials.
Okay.
And take out pale ale. We currently charge $13, which is about market price. Figure out what we can move these for and kind of ramp up the price, ramp up some sales to get rid of it versus dumping it down the drain, which thoroughly hurt me.
I can imagine.
I think a piece of my soul died when we dumped beer down the drain.
So, does the kegerator that's down in the great room function? Do we know?
Yes,
Does
it
it?
does.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, we have had issues with filling. Maybe JJ can show you that. You guys can go in the bar. We have had issues trying to fill the
Growlers
because of the pressure on the system.
Yeah.
Seems like the pressure gets too high. It's tough to fill them. We're trying to work on that and be able to fill them more efficiently.
It seemed better on a Thursday. I went up there and got a growler, and it seemed to be pouring better.
Gotcha.
But that
Do we have
was
somebody come in to adjust the pressure, or is that something Rick does?
Rick doesn't know a lot about the system. Typically, our brewer will work on it for us if he's here. JJ's kind of learning to tinker with it.
typically it's about 10 pounds you use. You use 10 pounds of pressure. But we had a problem down at the clubhouse, and it turned out that the regulator was bad. So there's little things that, you bang your head against the wall and you figure out it's not, you're doing the right thing. It's just the machinery is wrong.
Yeah, it's the $10 part that's screwing you up.
Exactly. But I can go through the systems with you and show you some things.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know everything, but I know enough to be stupid.
JJ, if you can come back with a recommendation, it'd be nice over the holidays to run a growler special.
Okay.
Over New Year's Eve and stuff. If you can come back with at this price, I think we're still making a little money, but we can move an additional amount of beer. I think we should do that. We should target that before New Year's Eve. The New Year's Eve and Christmas time frame. We could try to move some beer.
Andy, can you send me the last invoices for the grain, the malt and grain? There was one for the pale ale and one for the lager. He may have gotten them both in the same order. but I think he did 2 separate orders.
Last one he did was logger, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
we
just
did
want to see on
logger
both of them so I can price them out.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, anything else on lodge updates or any questions? All right, the last one, Boar Hill mailboxes. So we got a member emailed all of us in the management committee. And what the situation is the management committee's been kind of fiddling with this for years, but we haven't had money to actually do anything about it. So back at the Boar Hill gate, there's a group of mailboxes back there that is the only ones that they're not in a building, but they're just kind of sitting out open. We did have, and it was actually a slope up to them. So if it got pretty icy or snowy, members had a lot of trouble, and the mail guy had a lot, person had a lot of trouble getting to those. Maintenance has done a good job of trying to put some asphalt down to help that problem. But the problem is it's still kind of out there in the open. Mail does get wet in those. It does get slippery. It's hard for the mail guy to get up there sometimes. And so what we talked about doing before was looking at putting a roof over that, and maybe just a straight metal lean-to roof over that, kind of, and then leveling that off a little bit and put a stair step. The members have a little safer access to get to that. I know space is an issue there too. We can't put anything too big, but it would be nice to look at what would it take to put a, maybe a lean-to type shelter over that, and then even maybe concrete, do a concrete slab and a set of stairs to make it kind of safer. I don't know if you'd have to do concrete stairs and a ramp or not. You might have to do an ADA ramp. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts. Randy, any history I missed?
Well, yeah, the issue is where are you going to drain the water off of a lean-to roof? Because you don't want to drain it onto the gate, and you certainly don't want to drain it onto where people are going to be parking. So you probably are going to need to put some kind of a gable roof on it to drain it off to both sides.
Fair enough.
And so, yeah, so Rick and I can take a look at that. The idea of the step, we'll take a look at that. That's not a bad idea, but the problem is you're going to have some kind of ramp, which you already have there now. And so, yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, obviously take Jeff with you so he sees what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, it's something we've been kicking around for a while. Try to improve that little area. It's not a ton of room right there, but it would be nice to cover that facility and make it better. So if anybody has a chance to swing out that way, it'd be nice to get some recommendations going and look at. It wouldn't cost us much to put a structure there or have a structure built.
Will do.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions about that or?
Nope.
All right. I think that's the end of our regular scheduled meeting unless anybody's got anything else they want to bring up.
Not here.
Steve?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
Rex?
Good.
JJ?
Good. Do we got an exec? Or are we good?
Mary Beth, you good?
Keep up the good work, guys.
All right. All right. We're going to stop recording.